Welcome, everyone. Take a moment of calm as you witness this story. Watch the video until the end to discover what really happened that day, and if it moves you as much as it moved us, leave a like. If this is your first time here, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss other emotional stories. Let's begin. The chapel of Santa Lucia was immersed in mourning. The bells rang slowly, intertwining with the sobs of those present. Sophia, beside Laura's coffin, held little Matteo in her arms, the child's face flushed from crying. Sophia bent down to console him, but Matteo grew agitated, staring at the coffin with eyes full of terror. "Mama," he murmured, pointing with trembling fingers at the casket. Sophia barely held back her tears, remembering how, just the day before, Laura had smiled at her before leaving home. Around them, those present murmured, incredulous at such a sudden death. Mrs. Teresa, an elderly neighbor, approached Sophia. "My dear, but Matteo, are you sure he's all right?" Sophia looked at her son and saw him trembling, staring at a dark corner behind the coffin.
Sudenli Matteo skrämmet. Mama.
"She's trapped. She's asking for help." The chapel filled with palpable anguish. Some made the sign of the cross, others exchanged terrified glances. "My God, the boy sees," whispered Mrs. Teresa. Sophia, her heart in her throat, tried to stay calm. "Matteo, what did you say?" "Mama is there. She's calling you," he insisted, pointing toward the dark corner. A cold current swept through the church. At that moment, the doors flew open with a screech. A tall man made his entrance. Alberto, Laura's cousin. With a forced smile he approached Sophia. "You're tired, Sophia. We're all grieving." Sophia nodded, unable to respond. Alberto's gaze slid to Matteo, still clinging to his mother's dress. "He's too young to understand. He shouldn't say such things, he might frighten people," he said with a sharp tone. Sophia stiffened. "He's just crying for his mother," she replied. Alberto immediately changed the subject, lowering his voice. "Sophia, Laura left debts. Maybe you should think about selling the house." Sophia felt faint. "Sell the house? What are you talking about?" "I'm doing it for your good and Matteo's," Alberto said with fake regret. But Sophia, who had never trusted him, immediately sensed something sinister. Matteo squeezed his mother's hand tighter, pointing at the coffin again. "Mama is trapped." Alberto stiffened. The tension in the chapel grew. Sophia bent toward her son. "Love, what did you say?" "Mama didn't go away. She's still here. She's calling you." Silence fell over the chapel. Lucia, a woman among those present, whispered, "A child so young wouldn't lie." Sophia held Matteo to her chest, while Alberto, nervous, forced himself to laugh. Children have vivid imaginations. But Sophia noticed his clenched fists and understood that Alberto was hiding something. The air had become even heavier. The candles flickered weakly. Those present moved away from the coffin, frightened. Matteo's words echoed in Sophia's mind. "Mama didn't go away. She's calling you." She looked at Alberto. The man, now unable to hide his nervousness, drummed his fingers on a pew. He tried to downplay, "Let's not be impressed by a child's fantasies." But Mrs. Teresa, making the sign of the cross, murmured, "Sometimes children see things we cannot understand." Sophia held Matteo even tighter. Deep down, she felt that something terrible was truly about to emerge. "Sophia, I'm just trying to help you. We should settle the matter of the house before it's too late." Laura would have wanted it. Sophia felt her stomach twist. "Leave me alone," she replied, her voice sharp. Alberto shrugged, but for a moment irritation flashed across his face. "If you insist on refusing, I might be forced to involve the law." That threat froze her. Lucia, a woman from the town, whispered in scandal. "What a shame. They haven't even buried Laura and they're already talking about money." But Alberto, indifferent to the murmurs, concluded, "I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you'll have made a decision." He left, leaving behind an atmosphere charged with tension. Sophia, her heart pounding, lowered her gaze to Matteo. Mama is afraid," the child sobbed. Sophia tried not to panic. "Love, what do you mean?" Matteo raised his tear-streaked face. "Mama is trapped in there. She's calling me. She's afraid." Sophia turned toward the coffin, feeling unbearable anguish growing inside. Beside her, Mrs. Teresa shook her head. "He's not making it up. Once it happened to a man too. They thought he was dead, but he was only in a coma." Sophia swallowed hard. Was it possible? Outside, the wind howled against the windows. The candles flickered, and one went out. Some present exchanged terrified glances. "It's a bad omen," whispered a woman. Fear grew like a tide. Sophia held Matteo to her, torn between reason and terror. Lucia approached her. If you have even a doubt, don't let them bury Laura. Those words pierced her heart. Alberto had left, but his nervous behavior tormented her. Mrs. Teresa approached, whispering, "Follow your instinct." Mateo trembled, clinging to his mother. "Mama is afraid," he sobbed. A shiver ran down Sophia's spine. Laura was dead. But what if she wasn't? She held Mateo as if she could draw strength from him. Suddenly, a voice interrupted the silence. Sophia, Ricardo, a dear family friend, was in the doorway, breathless. "It's important. I need to talk to you." Sophia frowned. Ricardo approached and lowered his voice. "A few days ago, Laura told me that Alberto wanted to force her to sell. She refused. The next day, it happened." Sophia felt herself freeze. "Are you saying that?" "I have no proof," Ricardo said. "But Laura didn't trust him. She told me that if anything happened, you shouldn't trust anyone." Sophia felt faint. Mateo pulled on her sleeve. "Mama." She's crying. The chapel plunged into an unreal silence. Mrs. Teresa made the sign of the cross. "The boy really sees," someone murmured. Sophia knelt in front of her son. "Mateo, what did you say?" "Mama is crying," the child whispered, pointing at the coffin. The air became heavy, oppressive. Then, suddenly, a dull sound bounced through the naves. Thump. No one dared speak. But then the sound returned. Thump, thump. This time it wasn't just Sophia hearing it. The crowd stirred. Mrs. Teresa made the sign of the cross. "Sophia, we need to open that coffin," Lucia stammered. Sophia moved forward trembling, but a voice stopped her. "Don't touch anything." It was Alberto, reappearing in the doorway, his face contorted with rage. "Don't let superstition sow chaos." But Sophia couldn't shake off the growing fear. Thump, thump. Another knock made everyone pale. Alberto clenched his fists, his voice full of menace. No one will open that coffin. But his nervousness betrayed the opposite. The chapel was immersed in an unreal silence, broken only by the knocks coming from the coffin. The candles flickered, casting disturbing shadows. Sophia stared at the oak casket, while Alberto's voice, increasingly hysterical, tried to calm those present. "It's just the wind." But no one believed him anymore. "Wind doesn't knock on wood," whispered Mrs. Teresa, terrified. Carlo, an elderly man from the village, stood up. "If you have nothing to hide, let's open the coffin." "I'm not afraid," Alberto shouted, but his white knuckles told another story. Ricardo intervened, implacable. "Then let's open it." Thump. Another knock. Some women screamed, clinging to each other. The funeral had become a nightmare. Mateo, clinging to his mother's dress, cried, "Mama! Mama is calling you." Sophia trembled, but inside her a new strength was growing. "What are you hiding, Alberto?" she shouted. "Have you gone mad, Sophia?" He retorted, "They're just a child's fantasies." "And the knocks?" she pressed. "It's the wind," Alberto shouted. "Then let's open it and see," said Ricardo. Silence fell heavily. Alberto swallowed, terrified. "No, no one must touch it," he shrieked, worsening his situation. Carlo, determined, "The more you oppose, the more guilty you seem." Alberto sweated, pale as a corpse. Suddenly, Mateo let out a cry. "Mama! I'm here!" Thump, thump. The knocks grew louder. Some present fled in panic. Others remained paralyzed. Lucia, trembling, "If there's something, we need to check. Immediately." Mrs. Teresa, with a grave voice, "Call Father Alberto." Hearing those words, Alberto paled even more. "No, no one must call anyone," he thundered. But Sophia had had enough. "Ricardo, go call him. Now." Alberto tried to stop him, but Carlo blocked him. "You no longer have the right to interfere." Slap. Alberto freed himself with a jerk, but the terror in his eyes was evident. Outside, the chapel's funeral bells rang. Ricardo ran to call the priest, while inside, Sophia stood motionless in front of the coffin, her heart pounding. Mateo sobbed, "Mama is waiting for you to open the door." A shiver ran down her spine. What if Mateo was telling the truth? And Alberto, what was he hiding? All those present now knew that this was not a normal funeral. Mrs. Teresa prayed. Lucia murmured, "Maybe it's not too late to save her." But what if it was already too late? She couldn't wait any longer. She had to discover the truth. The bells rang incessantly, while terror paralyzed every soul. Thump, thump. The knocks continued, desperate. Sophia squeezed Mateo's hand, her heart frozen with fear. The child sobbed, "Mama is asking for help." Those present drew back, unable to approach but also unable to look away. Thump, thump. This time it wasn't just Sophia hearing it. The crowd stirred, Mrs. Teresa made the sign of the cross. Sophia. We need to open that coffin, Lucia stammered. Sophia was about to approach when a voice thundered. Don't touch anything. It was Alberto, returned furiously to the threshold. Don't be overwhelmed by superstition. It's ridiculous. But the anguish continued to grow. Thump, thump. Another knock made Sophia pale. Alberto, with clenched fists, shouted, No one will open that coffin. His words, however, only fueled suspicions. The chapel was wrapped in a silence charged with terror. The candles flickered. Shadows danced on the stone walls. Sophia felt her heart exploding in her chest. No one will open the coffin. Alberto shouted again, hysterical. It's just the wind. But no one believed him. Wind doesn't knock, whispered Mrs. Teresa. Carlo, an elderly family friend, stood up. If you have nothing to hide, let's open it. I'm not afraid, Alberto shouted, but his contracted hands said otherwise. Ricardo stepped forward. Then let's open it. Thump. Another knock echoed. Some women screamed, clinging to each other. Matteo clung to Sophia, crying, Mama! Mama is calling you. The fear inside Sophia transformed into anger. What are you hiding, Alberto? She shouted. Have you gone mad, Sophia? He yelled. They're just a child's fantasies. And the knocks? She retorted. The wind, he insisted. Then let's open it and see. Ricardo intervened. Silence fell heavily.
Alberto swallowed. Pale. No.
No one must touch it, he shrieked, aggravating his suspicions. The more you oppose, the more guilty you seem, Carlo said coldly. Alberto shot a hate-filled glance. Suddenly, Matteo screamed, Mama! I'm here! Thump, thump. The knocks grew even louder. Some present rushed toward the exit, while others remained motionless, terrified. Lucia, trembling. If there's something, we need to check immediately. Mrs. Teresa, with a grave voice. Call Father Alberto. Just hearing the priest mentioned, Alberto paled. No. No one must call anyone, he shouted. But Sophia had decided. Ricardo, go get him. Now. Alberto tried to stop him, but Carlo blocked his arm. You no longer have any right. Slap. Alberto freed himself with a jerk, terror now painted on his face. Outside, the funeral bells resounded through the walls. Ricardo ran to find the priest. Inside, Sophia remained in front of the coffin, her heart in her throat. Matteo sobbed. Mama is waiting for you to open the door. A shiver ran through Sophia. What if Matteo was right? And those knocks? And Alberto? All present now understood that this was not a normal funeral. Mrs. Teresa prayed silently. Lucia, wrapped in her shawl, murmured, Maybe we can still save her. But what if it was too late? There was no more time to hesitate. With or without Father Alberto, with or without Alberto's permission. She had to know the truth. The bells rang slow and ominous. No one was crying for Laura anymore. Terror had taken over. Thump, thump. The knocks on the coffin grew louder and louder. Desperate. Sophia squeezed Matteo's hand, her blood frozen. Mama is asking for help, the child sobbed. Mrs. Teresa prayed under her breath. Those present drew back, terrified, but unable to look away. Ricardo had run to find the priest, but Sophia knew she couldn't wait. We need to open the coffin. Now. Her voice echoed like thunder in the chapel. No. Alberto shouted, lunging forward, his eyes wild. Have you gone mad? It's just superstition. Sophia stared at him, glacial. Then explain those noises to me. It's the wind, he stammered. Do you really think I believe you? Sophia retorted. Just then Ricardo returned. The priest is coming. He said not to touch anything. No. Sophia shouted. We can't wait. She lunged at the coffin, but Alberto grabbed her wrist violently. Don't do it. Pain shot through her arm. Let go of me. Sophia struggled free. The crowd held its breath. Or are you afraid of the truth? She shouted.
Alberto hesitated. Motionless.
Sophia took advantage and approached the coffin. Ricardo and Carlo sided with her. If she's dead, we'll see. But if she's not, Carlo said coldly. Alberto's face turned ashen. No, he shrieked, but no one was listening to him anymore. Sophia placed her trembling hands on the lid. Beside her, Matteo cried, Mama. Just then, slap, Alberto struck Sophia violently. A cry of horror rose in the chapel. Sophia staggered, her head spinning. Ricardo lunged at Alberto. Have you gone mad? With a punch, he sent him to the ground. But Sophia didn't look away from the coffin. Thump, thump. The knocks continued, louder and louder. Matteo clung desperately. Mama. She's knocking. Sophia clenched her jaw. She had to know the truth. Open it, she ordered in a clear voice, but just as she was about to lift the lid, a scream.
No.
Alberto lunged at her, mad with terror. Ricardo knocked him down again with a punch. Alberto writhed on the ground, screaming, "Don't open it. You mustn't. What are you afraid of?" Sofia shouted at him. "You don't understand. You mustn't open it."
Alberto rab.
But by now no one was listening to him. Sofia nodded to Ricardo and Carlo. Her hands trembled, but her courage was unshakable. When she finally placed her hands on the coffin, "Sofia, stop!" An authoritative voice resounded in the chapel. It was Father Alberto, the priest, finally arrived. He advanced quickly. "What are you doing?" Ricardo explained. "Father, there are noises in the coffin. We need to open it." The priest looked at Sofia. "Are you certain?" Sofia hesitated. Matteo squeezed her hand. "Mama is afraid." Tears drowned her vision. "I'm not certain," she admitted. "But I can't bury her with this doubt." Father Alberto nodded. Everyone held their breath. The priest placed a hand on the coffin. Thump, thump, another knock even louder. Mrs. Teresa screamed. Some present fled, panicking. Alberto, on the ground, muttered, "You'll regret it." But no one stopped. "Open it," the priest ordered. When suddenly, "Wait!" a voice interrupted everything. A man burst into the chapel, breathless. It was Eduardo, the medical examiner. "Stop!" he shouted. "Don't open that coffin." A chill descended on everyone. "Why?" Sofia stammered. Eduardo, sweating and distraught. "There's been a mistake," he said. "I checked the death certificate. It was signed by an unknown doctor. At the hospital, no one officially confirmed Laura's death." A chilling silence fell over the chapel. Sofia felt her legs give way. Alberto let out an animal-like groan. "No, no, no!" Ricardo clenched his fists, ready to explode. "What does all this mean?" Sofia stared at Eduardo, the medical examiner, who replied in a grave voice, "It means there's a possibility that Laura was never dead." A desperate scream exploded in the chapel. Sofia collapsed on her knees, holding Matteo to her. "I told you," the child sobbed. Sofia, with eyes wide with terror, reached her hand toward the coffin. She was about to open it when, "No!" Alberto lunged at her. Bang! The chapel doors slammed shut, plunging everyone into darkness. Terrified screams bounced through the naves. Those present tried to flee, but the doors were locked. Sofia held Matteo. "Everything's fine, love. Mama is here." Suddenly a voice shouted, "We can't stay here. Open the doors." But nothing moved. Then, ha ha ha, a mad laugh tore through the darkness. Alberto, standing in the center of the chapel, sweating and beside himself. "Don't open it. You mustn't." Father Alberto, the priest, approached. "Alberto, what are you hiding?" Alberto backed away, trembling. "No. Don't ask me anything." Ricardo grabbed him. "What did you do to Laura?" Alberto collapsed on the ground. I didn't mean to. I just wanted her to sell the house." But she refused. Sofia, with a broken voice, "Did you kill her?" "No," Alberto shouted, in tears. "I just wanted to scare her. I put something in her drink. I wanted to make her pass out. But she never woke up." The chapel remained paralyzed. Sofia screamed, "You poisoned Laura?"
Alberto, drenched in sweat, nodded.
"I didn't know she was allergic. When I realized she wasn't waking up, I paid a doctor to fix the documents." "You thought she was dead?" Sofia shouted. "You didn't even check?" Alberto lowered his head, trembling. I was afraid. And you let her be buried alive?"
Alberto sobbed anche entroulebly.
But at that moment,
Bang, bang, bang.
the knocks from the coffin shook the entire chapel. A chorus of screams exploded. Alberto turned white. "No, it's not possible." Father Alberto made the sign of the cross. "Let's open the coffin." Sofia nodded, her heart in her throat. Ricardo and Carlo approached, placing their hands on the lid. A freezing wind blew through the chapel.
Alberto screamed, "No."
"Don't open it." But it was too late. Ricardo and Carlo lifted the lid. A heartbreaking scream exploded from Sofia's throat. "Laura!" Sofia collapsed on her knees, crying. Laura was alive. She trembled weakly, her skin pale, her lips chapped, her eyes opened, weak but conscious. Sofia caressed her face. "I'm here, my love. I'm here." Matteo, in tears.
"Mama, Mama."
Laura let out a faint breath. "Sofia!" Cries and sobs invaded the chapel. Those present drew back horrified. Some wept openly. Ricardo wrapped his jacket around her. "Quickly, we need help." Father Alberto knelt beside Laura. "We're taking her out." Margaret ran to get water. Sofia squeezed her wife's hand. Don't leave me, Laura. Don't leave Mateo. Mateo touched her arm, sobbing. Mama, wake up. I miss you. Laura, with a gaze veiled with tears, met Sophia's. She had understood everything. Her daughter had saved her. Outside, sirens were heard. 2 police cars and an ambulance stopped in front of the chapel. Marshal DeSantis got out, his gaze tense. What the hell is going on? Ricardo went to meet him, shouting, "Arrest him." Alberto tried to kill Laura. He falsified the death certificate. A murmur of indignation ran through the crowd. The marshal turned to Alberto. "Arrest him." 2 officers grabbed him.
No.
"No."
I'm innocent.
Alberto shouted, dragged away.